The play you are about to see deals with an imaginary H-bomb attack on New York City and with the measures that civil defense would take in such an event for the rescue and protection of the population in and around the city. The happenings that will now follow on your screen might be taking place in a suburban community some 50 miles from New York, but are entirely fictitious, of course. It is the prayer of every one of us that such happenings shall forever remain fictitious.
Hey, kids, if I'm going to drop you off to school, you'd better wiggle. The 823 will not wait for me.
Oh, must I drink my milk?
Make a guess, Jenny.
Michael, you know what I think? I think it's awful. Oh, Mother.
Yes, Bobby.
Would you stop calling me by that baby name? It's Barbara.
What jeepers, we've been calling you Bobby for 14 years. I don't see why you should
of course not. You wouldn't.
Now, Barbara.
Mommy, will you listen? You know those white jackets I got at the bars and sale for the Babysitters Club? They have to be washed and ironed for tonight's meeting.
Oh, sweetie, on the day the maid's out sick, won't they wait?
Well, if you want to make an absolute
Oh,
fool out
why
of me.
can't we be like other families? A nice, normal group of people.
We are, John.
Are what?
Normal. As oatmeal and apple pie. Come on now, up and out of the house. The jackets will be done.
I'm
Hi.
sorry, Mother.
Come on, kids. I'll let you to
The meeting's going to be at 8 o'clock.
All right. Come on.
Goodbye, darling.
The meeting should be over by
Hurry up, Judy.
I'll tell you all this. You're welcome to come home at the end of the day, every one of you. I'll be happy to see you.
Now, you wait right there, Michael, till I get home.
You. Bye. Hello? Oh, Edie. No, I haven't forgotten the club luncheon and the mayor coming to talk. Look, I won't be able to make it today. Well, it's just one of those days. Yes, I know we women have got to keep up with the world, widen our horizons. But all the horizons I'll have time for today... Again.
Harry? No, it can't be. Children. John.
Smoke coming up from the south from New York. Mrs. Jackson! Mrs. Jackson, what's happened? Don't you hear me? Please! Children, John down in the office in New York. In the office, New York. Operator, long distance. No answer. Try the local operator. Operator, somebody. No answer from anybody. Children, get down.
Your attention, please. We interrupt our normal program to cooperate in security and civil defense measures as requested by the United States government. This is a CONORAD radio alert. Listen carefully. This station is now leaving the air. Tune your standard radio receiver to 640 or 1240 kilocycles for official civil defense instructions and news. Once again.
Your attention, please. Your attention, please. This is your official civil defense broadcaster. An explosion has just taken place in New York City, which is believed to have resulted from the dropping of a hydrogen bomb. The bomb was probably carried by a guided missile launched from a submarine at sea.
No.
All civil defense workers report to emergency stations immediately.
Children.
Stay where you are unless you're in immediate danger. Do not attempt to join your children if they're in school. They are being well taken care of where they are. Do not try to telephone. Remember, radioactivity may make food and water in open containers dangerous. Use canned or otherwise protected foods until further notice. Do not attempt to inquire about relatives in New York. As yet, there is no information. Your attention, please. Your attention, please. This station is your only source of official information and civil defense instructions. We repeat, approximately 40 minutes ago at 10:50 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, an explosion, now believed to have been caused by a hydrogen warhead carried by a guided missile, took place over metropolitan New York. First reports indicate extensive damage and heavy loss of life. Almost simultaneously with the strike at New York, other bombs fell on Washington, Philadelphia, Boston, San Francisco, Seattle, and Los Angeles. We have no further details as yet. Our civil defense forces are fully mobilized to cope with the damage and protect our civilian population. In many areas, telephone, gas, and electric services have been cut off or will be disconnected in order to conserve fuel. In order to keep constantly informed, use your battery-operated portable or automobile radios. Keep your set tuned to this same spot on the dial for all authentic civil defense instructions, news, and information. This is your official civil defense broadcaster.
What, through those streets? They said it'll be all right if we rush right indoors. Oh, Mommy's such a great big flash. I was looking out the classroom window, and all of a sudden a big bang. Oh, the biggest bang ever. Wait, you can talk about it like a game. Some of the kids, they said there wasn't any New York anymore. Yes, and what about Daddy? Daddy? Sitting there in his office in New York.
No, not in his office, I'm sure. But he said something about going down to New Jersey today.
What for?
To inspect a bridge that his firm's building. And I know he went. I know he wasn't in his office when it happened. I just know it.
Well, it was nice getting out of school early. Where's Michael? Where's my horse, Michael? He's not human. He's insane. That's all the more she can say about it.
She doesn't want to know what's happened. She can't bear to know. Children are
But
like
all the cities and people just disappearing from the earth. Barbara, stop it.
All right. I'm sorry, Barbara, but no more of that. Absolutely. Listen to me, darling. We've been living with this thing in the back of our minds for years. We prayed it would never happen, but now we've got to keep our heads.
Attention, please. This is your official civil defense broadcaster with a special message. Stand by. Reports indicate a fallout of radioactive particles carried by wind and rain as far as 70 miles from the city. The nature of these particles is such that they will burn themselves out within a few hours to a few days. Radiological crews are now making an inspection of all areas in the vicinity of New York City. Meanwhile, for your protection, stay in your homes. Keep your windows closed and the blinds drawn. Your local civil defense block wardens are now checking all homes and buildings in their areas. This is your official civil defense broadcaster.
No, Julie, I'm just going to skate around the block. Come back. But I wonder what all those sirens just go by. You never met in the funny suit.
No. Come like that.
Why can't I go outside?
Because he told you not to. Oh, Pooh, Look, darling, it's too wet out there. You play indoors. Oh, Pooh.
Michael. Where's my horse, Michael?
Oh, somewhere, I'm sure.
He and I, we're going to gallop away together, saying poo and poo and poo to everybody.
The kitchen door, Mother. I'll ask the block warden, baby. I'll see. You just sit tight by the radio.
Let me in, please.
Who are you?
I'm Garson Lee. Let me in. I'll explain.
Explain.
It's about your daughter, Barbara.
Barbara.
Yes, it's a matter of urgency. I'm her science teacher in high school. Now will you let me in?
Barbara, tell me. Wasn't that a rifle shot?
Yes, auxiliary police, probably. There are looters around already.
Tell me, what about Barbara?
I think she may have been exposed to radiation today.
Think? Was she or wasn't she?
I was bringing my class back from a trip to the aircraft plant when the bomb fell.
As we reached the school, it began to rain. Rain that may have been radioactive.
May have, was it or wasn't it?
I'm not sure, but to be on the safe side, you should have a test made of Barbara as soon as possible.
What sort of a test?
With a Geiger counter.
I don't follow you.
If the radio particles have entered, they go to the bone marrow, causing a drop in the blood count. Now, but that won't come until later. Right now, a Geiger counter is the only thing that'll give us any indication. Now, I'm not sure about this, but just as a preventative, I thought I should see the parents of all the students who were with me.
Who is it?
Just a second. Would you wait here, please?
Of course.
Mother? Barbara, do you know a Garson Lee?
Dr. Lee, well, sure, he's my science teacher. Why, is he going around making tests or something?
Should he?
Chiefest doctor, he knows everything in the world about atoms. He worked on that stuff a long way back.
He did?
Only when they started making the bombs, he decided to give it up and teach high school.
He did? Well, what did you do that for?
What would I... Why is he here?
Oh, just a check.
What kind of a check?
To be sure that all the children that are on the field trip are all right.
But what? Is he still here?
Look, Barbara, I assure you.
Dr. Lee.
Hello, Barbara.
The stuff that fell, is it very bad?
But I only came to be on the safe side
But
here.
from that kind of exposure, people could die, couldn't they?
But we're not sure that you were
The
exposed.
blood count stopped.
Barbara.
In about 2 weeks, the other sisters start showing hair falling out, bleeding gums, start vomiting.
Did you have to come here and stir us up with thoughts like this? Don't go there.
Just a moment, please. If that's your air raid warden, you will tell him that you want a test made of Barbara, but please let it be your own idea.
Why?
Because I have my own very good reasons.
All right, if you prefer. Oh, Jim Turner from the gas station.
In a new line of work right now, Mrs. Mitchell. I'm your block warden. Now, here is a full set of instructions for your family.
Thank you. Vital facts for civilians. Effects of radiation. Community organization. Think of everything.
Well, we trained for it long enough. Civil defense. Some folks thought it was a kid's game. You know, lots of laughs. Just a game. Some game.
Some laugh.
Well, now, is there anything special you'd like to know?
A million things. Where my husband is. When I'll ever hear about him. Or from him. Dead or alive. And how long this thing goes on. And Barbara. Whether Barbara...
What about Barbara?
Well, there's a chance she might have been exposed to radiation. Should she be tested?
Well, now, they've just opened a new emergency hospital down the street in the Legion Hall.
Take her out in the street?
Oh, they think it'll be perfectly safe by tomorrow.
By tomorrow? Wait until...
No, wait. I'll tell you what. Young Doc Spinelli. I know that he's standing by right now waiting for the first wounded from New York. I think I can grab him for a minute.
I can't tell you how thankful I am.
That's my job, Mrs. Mitchell. That's what I signed for.
Who'd ever thought of all the times that I drove up to your gas station?
Regular, ma'am, or high test? Let's face it, Mrs. Mitchell. We won't know what regular is again for a long, long time to come.
The way it's flickering there.
No, it's hardly stirring at all. Just picking up the tiny bit of radioactivity that you picked up from the school door going to the bus and from the bus into here.
It doesn't even show one millirentgen of radioactivity on me.
Right.
It would have to show at least 2.5 or 3 millirentgens to be worth thinking about.
Correct, Professor Mitchell. I have the honor to report that you are a very well-informed, 100% red-blooded American girl.
Doctor, is Barbara all right?
Yes, ma'am. She's as right as... Oh, no, the Times have done something to rain.
Would you test Jenny, too?
Oh, sure. How are you, Jenny? Here.
No, I don't want it. I don't want it.
Sweetie, now just hold still. That girl. Now, there. Does that hurt? No. Not one trace of the hot stuff. She's cool as a cucumber.
And so, as night falls, only flame is to be seen where once stood the dozen great cities. But our will to fight remains unbroken, and already we have taken the offensive to pay the enemy back in his own terms. Keep tuned for further reports later.
Barbara.
Yes?
That teacher of yours.
Dr. Lee?
Yes, by the time I got back to the kitchen, he'd left. He seemed so strange. For instance, the way he didn't want me to mention his name.
Oh, can't you guess why?
No, not for the life of me.
He thinks he might be on a list of wanted persons.
Heavenly day, what for?
Well, for refusing to have anything to do with war, with making the bombs. But he hates the enemy just as much as any of us. It's just that he's very religious and he's against shedding blood.
A pacifist, but there are some people, he says, who won't see the difference, who don't have time for explanations. Shooting again. Those legals scooting through the streets, they might take him for a looter. Someone might decide to shoot first and ask questions later. Jenny. Where's Jenny? Jenny, she was looking for that toy horse of hers. Jenny! Jenny, where are you? Jenny!
I thought you were lost. Oh, so cold and so wet. Poor Michael.
Jenny, you haven't gone outside, have you? Where have you been?
Oh, just getting Michael ready for bed.
Well, you better do the same for yourself.
You're so sleepy. Poor Michael.
Barbara, you were so long brushing your teeth just now. Sure you weren't being sick? Oh, don't be a worry, Ward. You hardly ate any supper. Barbara, were you sick? That doesn't mean it has to do with radiation poisoning. Here, look at the instruction sheet. They say nausea and vomiting made me emotional or from some other cause, and without evidence shouldn't be taken too seriously unless it recurs in a week or two. So stop looking at me as if I was doomed. I bet a lot of people don't feel so good tonight. No, I guess not.
Ladies and gentlemen, stand by for an important address.
Oh, may I?
We bring you now the nationally famous news analyst, John Daly, with a message of hope and inspiration. Mr. Daly.
This is the report on today's bomb attack. I will not try to gloss over the happenings of these past few hours. We have been mauled badly by an enemy who hoped to destroy us with a single blow. In this, he has not succeeded. Throughout the nation tonight, we are working according to a long-prepared blueprint to carry out the two imperative tasks of the hour. These tasks are, 1, to care for the wounded and the homeless. 2, to carry the war to the
I
end.
hope we didn't wake you, Mrs. Mitchell.
Carry out the
They're from New York and Lower Westchester. They were driven out of their homes. We found them huddled with thousands of other in the cross-county center shelter. We're evacuating millions of them. Well, we've earmarked these 4 people, Mrs. Mitchell, to be put up in your house.
the damage.
Yes, of course, bring them in. I don't want
On the fighting front, military headquarters.
I'm going to die. The radiation.
The fire? I could see them all the way from Riverdale. And then the big skyscrapers, they were melting like candles and bending over. And the wind was hurling
Out on the
the speed of a hurricane. Up there was that big cloud.
Soaked with that poison rain. Oh, I'm dying. Nobody was listening to me. I'm dying.
The time for
I'm dying.
and new courage. Time for great. We as individuals and as a people owe it to ourselves. There have been no further enemy attempts to break through our defense screen, and the war has been carried to every single major city in the enemy's homeland. Here at home, order has begun to emerge from the chaos with a rapidity never believed possible. The homeless and injured are being cared for. Limited telephone service is being restored at a rapid rate. Civil defense welfare services have already established clearinghouses and have begun to compile casualty lists for those seeking missing friends and relatives. That is all for now.
Daddy, Daddy, I don't want to think about that. I want to think that he's safe and well, do you hear me? Yes, Mother. Oh, there goes that poor kid again, Nancy. What's the matter with Mrs. Harvey lying in bed all day looking at the wall?
She's convinced that her husband's dead, and so is she, pretty near. She just doesn't care.
And that other prize, Mrs. Moore. Thank heaven for Mr. Flood, at least.
Yes, he's sweet.
He seems he used to go to sea, first mate on a lot of ships.
Morning, lady.
Good morning.
Aye, sir.
Well, I hope have you all your stores laid in? I'll go get them for you.
Bobby and I were up the first thing this morning.
Laid in for the week, Skipper.
I found these up in the attic. I thought you might be able to use them.
I thought we'd thrown those out years ago.
They're in ship shape now, lady.
Thank you, Mr. Flood. It's good to have you aboard. Will you put them on the mantel?
Yes.
Mrs. Mitchell. Yes. Is there any ice yet in that refrigerator?
No, the electricity hasn't been on long.
Oh, my throat aches so. Hillbilly music. Is that all they can give us?
Why don't you write to your senator what's left of them?
No, I mean, they never tell us anything, do anything. No, but they let gangs of hoodlums go roaming all over the landscape.
Gangs? What gangs?
I seen them from the window. Crazy men wandering around, breaking into houses, and we're left here to die, little by little.
Oh, how Mrs. Moore.
Oh, yes. That's all a great big joke, isn't it? Meanwhile, my bones are burning away inside of me. And... oh, pretty soon my hair will all start falling out. Nobody believes me. Nobody.
Well, I'll tell you this. I'd never sign up to be cast away on a desert island with that one. And that other one in there, Mrs. Harvey, going down just like a ship in the sea.
We can all take a lesson from you. I mean, the way you keep going on, always looking around for what's to be done next.
I'll give you this, that never have such big holes been knocked in the world as in these last few days. And there are those who say that there'll be no more tomorrows. Well, they're in for a big surprise, because tomorrow does come. Maybe it limps a little, maybe it crawls, but it does come. Question is, whether you want to be on board or just get left behind.
Are you going out?
Yes, I think it's safe enough now. I'm told they need hands bad down at the rescue center. See you later, ladies.
Bye, Skipper. You know, Mother, even if the whole world was blown up, you find Mr. Flood out there the next morning with a hammer and nail. Oh, we've got to do something. Mrs. Harvey, do you know you haven't washed that child's face since you got here?
My husband. Dead.
How can you know?
In New York when it happened. Dead.
Oh, stop it. Think for once of your child. All right, if you won't. Nancy, come on. Let's wash your face and get you something clean. Come on. Oh, please, dear. Wait. It's all so hopeless. I wasn't a babysitter for nothing. Come on in here, Jenny. Be careful. My best dinner dress.
It's me, everybody.
It's scrumptious, Nancy.
I'm going to a nightclub.
Wouldn't you like to go?
Dress me up, too. Dress me up, too, please. Come on, Nancy. What color dress do you want?
Thank you, Bobby. Listen, from now on, I'll take care of the children.
Ladies and gentlemen, in a moment you may hear an alert in your area. Do not be alarmed. Our patrols are merely checking on a plane that has failed to identify itself properly.
Oh, ye gobs and little fishes, what's happening now?
All right, Mrs. Moore.
All right, that awful racket.
Just checking on a plane.
Oh, noise, always noise.
Yes, Mrs. Moore. Next time we'll all have to pitch in and fight a quiet war. Yes, just routine alert. You know what bothers me? I just looked out of the window, and when I saw
What?
some awful-looking men going across the back lawn to the kitchen door. Perhaps civil defense. Not those, I don't think. Should I call Mr. Flood down? He's not back yet. Who are you? What do you want? Please, look, there's firing going on near us. Stop it! Stop it at once and go away! Father, what? Down in this color. Your father's bird gun. Yeah.
That won't be necessary.
You out there. If it's food or water you want, say so. We'll give you what we can spare. Otherwise, I ask you to go away. Now, look, the people in this house have done you no harm. They have troubles enough of their own now. I ask you in the name of decency to go away.
Open the door. Maybe they'll listen to this.
Loaded? Now, look, I warn you. I have a gun. Don't force me to use it. I warn you, don't force me to use it. Fire.
Doctor, you are wonderful.
This awful thing. I can't tell you how I deplore this.
Can't tell you how thankful I am. But may I ask? Oh, he just happened to drop in.
Now, I'll be perfectly frank, Mrs. Mitchell. For the past several days, your daughter has been allowing me to Stay in your cellar.
He can't go back to his own place. He's in trouble.
Barbara.
I know what I'm talking about. There was an announcement on the radio, you know? That he was to be located at once and brought to emergency
Now,
headquarters.
I'll put everything straight. I am not popular with some of my fellow countrymen. And these bombings have done nothing to breed patience.
I'm not sure I entirely understand you.
Nor do I. Quite. I thought I'd found my life's work in science. The purest of sciences. The investigation of our universe. Of matter. What held it together or drove it apart. Pure speculation. I worked with a pencil, scraps of paper, and my thoughts. Now how, I reasoned, could that bring harm to even the smallest of God's creatures? And then I learned that my every thought was being turned to
atomic theory?
to the creation of the most destructive weapons the world has ever known.
But don't...
I'd been raised on certain principles, among those, thou shalt not kill. Not ever, not under any circumstances. And then I learned every thought was being turned to mean to destruction. As soon as I found that out, I gave up my work and I turned to teaching.
I see.
But, Mother, if he truly, honestly believes in pacifism...
Oh, sure, and so wouldn't I like to. But all it takes is one hoodlum running wild in the streets, and what are we supposed to do?
I've heard that argument before.